Journaling is super, super powerful for physical and mental health. The goal of any type of journaling is to take away all of the thoughts that you have in your brain and put them down on paper. Now, not every thought that you have needs to equally go down on paper, but not every thought that you have is also true. So being able to distinguish between like real thoughts or just the way that we self-talk is really, really critical by writing it down. By writing it down, you make it true, and you get to really think about and reflect on the things that you've thought about, which will help when it comes to when you're overwhelmed, high levels of stress, or you just want to work through a situation. Now, I've heard this so many times where people just say, yeah, but I can think about it and it'll be absolutely fine. And the reality is that you can, and you can think about things, but when you have a million and one other things to do at the same time, the clarity in which you think about, or the thought process that you have, will never be as true as it would be when it's written down on paper. It's all about creating that singular focus and providing that by writing it down on paper. Now, how do you even start journaling? How do you even do it? Now, for one person, it may be completely different to another, but there are a few different variations that I would recommend. One is like writing out what you're going to do today. It will allow you to distinguish the major things within your day without creating this schedule that is by minute that you will make using probably Google Calendar, or you have within your work calendar between meeting to meeting to meeting. So you can just have a high overview of what you've got to do today. That will allow you to lock in with the major core foundational things and tick them off one by one as you go throughout the day. That will help to just set your day, and especially if you're one of those people that wake up and you're go, it'll allow you to just, the night before or in the morning, just write down what you have to do and you just check on how much you've actually done of it. Another way of doing it is just like writing, where you're just writing out the thoughts that are in your head, and you're just going and telling yourself a story. Or you can ask yourself a question and just discuss those questions. For me, my journaling journey was started by just writing about how I felt, the negatives, the positives, the situations that were going on in my day to day. And then that really evolved into, once that is all out of your head, you'll find that liberating feeling when you write down and all of the things that you've been kind of thinking about gets down on paper. You can then ask yourself more targeted questions to really explore your thought process and really define an answer that you've got for this specific question. Like I said, keeping things up in here doesn't mean that you'll get the most correct, most clear answer. It just means that you're going to be able to think about it easier and remove the amount of ego bias that will come when you have to write things down. And that's another thing why journaling is super powerful, is that by writing things down, it removes at least half of the ego when it comes to what you've been thinking in your head, whether overinflating situations or deflating situations beyond where they need to be. By writing them down, they make them true and actual to the level that they actually are. So you may fear journaling the same way you may fear checking in when you've had a bad week. Now, starting that is going to be just as simple as you would do, or someone would say when checking in, is that you just have to do it and you just have to start off small. So even if you start journaling or you start writing down a to-do list on paper, start that very, very small and start a few lines. As we know with habits and any type of habit, you need to just make it super easy for you to do, and then you can build on from there. Like if you wanted to read a newspaper every single day, or read some part of a book, you would just choose to open the book and just read one page. And once you've done that, you'll be able to make 2 pages and 3 pages and move forwards with that. But for now, journaling is going to be one of your biggest friends when it comes to reflecting on your journey, reflecting on some of the things that you may have done wrong or you may be struggling with. The reality is most fitness endeavours, most fat loss endeavours, most things around getting out of shape and then back into shape are not because you just ate over calories just because you did. There will be things that you need to discuss with yourself, problems and solutions that you'll need to think about, relationships that you're struggling with, or communication that you're not getting, or your job that you enjoy or you don't enjoy, will all need to be discussed so that you can have a clear mind on what you actually want to do with your day, what you want to do with your life, and what you want to do with this journey that you're on. And once you have that clarity of thought, you'll be able to then put that in action and go forwards with that. So start with journaling, even if it's once a week or once every evening, to highlight what the plan is for the day after. It'll start you in good stead for being able to then build yourself up to that point where you're journaling and you're writing things down and you're writing your emotions and tackling those bigger issues that will need to be tackled for you to be able to stay in shape, long term and be able to have very good mental health in general.